All right, cool. So we have another question I want to some questions that came in after the webinar was completed. So I want to go over those questions if we could real quick. So Vance, he asks, I would love to have an idea about the kinds of taxes you pay for NYC, or for New York City. I heard hotel tax, self-employment tax, independent contractor tax. What is the best resource for knowing how much to set aside for taxes in New York City?
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good question. I think the best thing to do is start on the state website. So each state has naturally different tax filings as well as different tax percentages. So I think unfortunately, because Airbnb is so new, there's not enough resources available for hosts to kind of understand and keep track of all their expenses. So what I would suggest is probably an Excel file. And what you can have is the two most important things to summarize is your income as well as your expenses, and then you can back into all this respective tax that you owe for each category. You have your 1099 tax. You have naturally for New York in particular, you have your city tax. You'll have your state tax as well as your federal income tax. So I think at this state, until there's better tools available, probably an Excel file should do the trick.
Okay, so that's a way to categorize or to capture all the parts of that. But will they have to pay the hotel, self-employment, and independent contractor all at the same time, or do they kind of fall into different? Like if you hit this parameters, you'd pay this tax, and if not, you pay this tax. Yeah, any insight on that? Do they pay all three, or is it just one, or is it?
Yeah, definitely. It's really on a case-by-case study and the filing requirements for that respective state. So I think my personal take on it is I think what's going to happen over time is I think Airbnb is naturally going to start collecting the room and board tax for all of the cities. I think it's just taking them some time to catch up. I know they are doing it specifically right now for San Francisco, but I foresee over time, I think the latest stat for New York City in particular was 65 million in missed tax revenue. So I think once cities begin to realize how profitable this is and how much potential tax revenue they can make, they're going to definitely want to start sticking their hands in those pockets.
Got you. Okay, so they should probably contact a professional within their state to really hammer down on what the exact taxes they need, or they can get in contact with you and then you can do a deeper dive for them. Correct?
Yeah. You unlike law, as a CPA, I can practice in any state, or at least research every state rule, and I can service every client. Whereas with law, you can only practice in the state that you pass the bar. So, contact a professional if you don't want to do it yourself, or if it's kind of overwhelming for you.
Gotcha. Cool. And let me just check if there's any more. And I don't see any more. It was a question from Vance and Johnny, but no, that is it for the other questions from the webinar. So thank you again, Derek. And then I will. If there's any more questions, we'll make another video. We'll catch up with you later in the afternoon. If you could just stick around, we'll talk a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.